The title for today's session is Broadening the Themes of Social Studies, which will be led by Farhat Mansoub and Anosia Nazir. Before I introduce the presenters, I have a few announcements to make. You are welcome to write your comments and your questions in the chat box, which will be addressed at the end of the session in the last 15 minutes. And also, please do consider filling up the survey form. Your feedback is valuable for us, and that you can do at the end of the session. Link has always been pasted in the chat box. Let me introduce both the presenters. Can we have the next slide, please? Farhat Mansoub holds a master's degree in education, curriculum planning, with special reference to production of textbooks and reading material for primary and secondary levels. She has extensive experience as a teacher and principal of renowned schools in Pakistan and has also conducted teacher training workshops. Farhat has served as senior consultant for primary education in Sindh for UNICEF. She has studied environmental education at the Strathclyde University in Glasgow and also holds a master's degree in international education development from Columbia University, USA, with a focus on peace and human rights education. Farhat is the author of the social studies book, Know Your World, published by Oxford University Press, Pakistan. Anosia Nazir is a skilled teacher trainer who possesses knowledge of modern day techniques and teaching pedagogy. She has been associated with the field of education for a decade. She has a master's in international relationship along with a bachelor's in education from Notre Dame Institute of Education. She was associated with the city school system as a teacher, as well as a subject coordinator for history, geography, and English. Her write-up on land and people is published in the Grade 7 Social Studies Sindh textbook board. She strives to bring innovation in her teaching practices. Presently, she's working with Oxford University Press as an academic coordinator. Over to you, Anosia.
Thank you very much, Aisha. That was really nice of you to introduce us, and we are very pleased for that. All right, so to begin with, let me introduce you the objectives for the day. What we are going to do is talk about significance of significance of social studies as a separate discipline. With that, we are also going to focus on the themes in teaching of social studies, particularly referring to single national curriculum. And with that, we will also be focusing on core competencies and skill development, which has now been updated and improved in single national curriculum, and how these are found in our books, Know Your World.
Respected participants, Assalamu alaikum. As you just heard, the significance of social studies, to the same thing, Dr. Maria Montessori has emphasized that averting war is the work of politicians and establishing peace is the work of educators. So now we all are educators. So the responsibility comes on us to see what is happening and what is wrong with the subject of social studies here. Let us talk about this slide, the significance of social studies, what all five, the boxes here, they are representing the peace in the world. So peace is the easiest way to come through social studies to us. So, but how can we inculcate peace? Just saying peace, everybody's happy is not enough. But there are some, points which have to be included to bring peace in the world. So, like vehicle to attend social ills through teaching tolerance. So it is very important to teach tolerance to the students in social studies to bring peace, because there are fights everywhere, and we have to understand that everyone has equal rights. So nobody has a right to pressurize the other person, and respect the opinions of the others to bring peace. In tolerance, you have to learn and you are taught the respect the opinions of others. So same thing equips students with information Like we include different chapters in the books or in curriculum, some chapters, which emphasize on peace through information in the books. So like we teach many lessons which inform them like citizenship, like democracy and human rights. So these are certain lessons which really give information and equip children about peace. So builds a sense of responsibility. The sense of responsibility has to be inculcated in the children right from a very beginning and early age, because it is learned from the early age and it goes all the way along. It's not that a child will grow up and then you will teach him responsibility. No, no way. He will learn in his childhood. So we provide better understanding of the world around us, because while we teach peace, we teach the cultures of different countries, our own country and other countries also. When children study and compare the two countries, they compare the conflicts and discussions in the culture of that country. So that really works over there. Then helps appreciate the role of others. Like whoever is helping us in the world or in our school or anywhere, we should be thankful to him and we should appreciate him. Like even if the cleaner is there in our school, in our home, we should respect him.
So very rightly said, significance of social studies is very much huge, and we cannot summarize it in 1 or 2 points, but it was just thought to highlight these 5 areas. And what we have next is themes in teaching of social studies according to national single curriculum. So we had our national curriculum earlier, which was mainly focusing on the two ideas of history and geography. They were provided to students in thorough detail with a little texture of citizenship and economics. But now the idea is to actually have it on a broader platform as far as our topic for the day is concerned, that it is broadening the theme. So the idea is now to give them more knowledge of citizenship, inculcate the idea of conflict management, as Farhat has already mentioned, talking about peace, having the idea of human rights, then also having the theme of culture is there, because culture will help them to accept diversity, culture will help them accept differences. Then state and government is also there, along with history and geography. A better understanding of economics is given to them this time, and human rights, of course, is not a separate theme but has been highly emphasized in the book. And about all these themes, one after the other, we are now going to explore. So, starting with the first one, citizenship.
Yeah, I have included this chapter of citizenship because it was recommended in the curriculum also. So by teaching citizenship, we mean to teach democracy to the students, because we live in a democratic country, and our behavior and our thoughts should be democracy based. And we talk about citizens here in the book, this is a chapter of the book. So we talk about the qualities of a good citizen. So one should learn the qualities of a good citizen to be a citizen of the country and citizen of the world. Here you will notice one thing, that right on the top, the heading is there, the rights and responsibilities of citizens, and then there is a box, and in that box we have highlighted the outcomes of the lesson. So each lesson has the outcomes in this frame, and teachers can always verify whether she is able to reach to these aims or not. And then the being good citizen, the qualities of good citizen, they should learn and show they are in their behavior and in their life. And so this citizenship teaching enables learners to recognize the rights and responsibilities, their own rights and their own responsibilities, and others' responsibilities also. So characterized by mutual respect. This is okay. So now we talk about culture. The second lesson is culture. So we should tell what is culture. That people should know, students should know what is culture, definition of culture. And then we have told that how to live together in what way, bring awareness, the acceptance of diversity. I like how this is the other one, no? Culture.
Yes.
Yeah. So like brings awareness of acceptance of diversity in the culture. We have to accept that, and the way we live together, that is very important. How should we live, how should we tolerate other people's things? We should learn that, and they should also learn to tolerate our mistakes and our shortcomings. And next, yeah. Now the next chapter I'm talking about is state and government. You will see that in each lesson in this book, there are pictures here. We have designed this lesson in thing that you can see the picture and children can learn easily and just keep it remembered. So this is when we teach about the culture, we teach them about multicultural society. What is that, and how does a society become multicultural? And what are the qualities of a multicultural society? How to live in a multicultural society? So this is we always teach them.
And with that, of course, when we are teaching them multicultural society, of course, justice is one of the integral parts. Therefore, statement and government comes in. And when we talk about state and government, of course, the knowledge of formation of how the government is made, what is democracy, how state and government work together, and what are the responsibilities of citizens. Of course, it is there in citizenship. So everything is, linked with one and the other. Going forward, we have history, which of course has already been there earlier as a theme, and there were different chapters. So, of course, being based on the same lines, we have ancient civilizations again introduced to the students, and then it of course provides insight about ancient civilizations, how those society works, what was their culture like, what inventions they made, their location, of course, and of course, it will also provide them research skills and critical thinking by comparison. Now, when we say that research skills, of course, when students actually learn about a particular society, they of course are going to be interested and curious. So there are different assessments designed to actually help them investigate about certain aspects. Going forward, we have another theme, which is geography. Geography basically is comprised of 5 themes, and these 5 themes are location, place, movement, human environment, interaction, and region. All 5 themes cater to different ideas, and all of them have been incorporated in the books. Now, if you look at the page which has been shown to you, the graphic representation of complicated concepts have been provided. Now, the idea is that if it's a very complicated concept which students cannot learn just by reading, a picture or a visual is given to support so that it is easier to understand.
Here I would also highlight that you can see this do you know in a box. So whatever we wanted to highlight and couldn't give in the lesson, so we have highlighted it in the box, and they can read the prime meridian 0° is marked at Greenwich in the UK, as longitude was first determined here at the Royal Observatory in 1851.
So this is additional information which has been incorporated just to make sure that there is nothing missed and students actually gain as much as possible. With that, we have chapters like human environment interaction, which are based on, natural disasters. And of course, with each natural disaster, we have tried to incorporate safety measures also, so that students do understand that if we as humans have an impact on the environment, likewise, the environment has an impact on us. With this also they have this regional understanding where they can actually compare the regions based on the landforms, based on the minerals and their natural aspects. Let's go forward.
Yes, so now we have included the unit of economics in the book because as it is given in the curriculum, and it enhances the real life experiments through focusing on making economic choices. Children make economic choice because they are told, they are taught, and they are made understand that how to make the choice, economic choice. What are the features in that particular thing which they want to buy? So they have to think economically also, and other qualities which is present there and the thing they want to buy. So this is the economic. See, otherwise, other than this, we have choice and decision making, and then other this, we have the uh, use of like how the public or people or children are continuing resources made made of their for their needs and their wants. So I mean that is also given in the chapter, and they can study that.
So the idea of economics is based on individual as well as on the society. When we talk about individual entrepreneurship skills, having the idea of savings, taxes, how actually the child or a person or an individual citizen can actually work with those goods, how actually those services can be on the low level scale, and how it can be also focused on the larger level of scales. All of these things have been mentioned according to age appropriate content, because the idea is that students of grade 4 and 5 has to be given information in their language, so it's much simpler, it's easier to understand, it's readable. And of course, if even if it's a complicated topic, the effort has been put to make sure that it's easier for them to understand. With that, when we talk about society, of course, it's a larger level of economics, impact of economics, how goods and services are there, how trade is actually, going to affect a country or a region. These kind of informations have already been there for students so that it is easier for them to actually deal with it. Going further, when we look at the point which has been mentioned here is enhances real life experiences. So when we talk about the book's title, Know Your World, we actually try to focus on real life experiences. Every day, whatever a child is experiencing is social studies. When we talk about the literal meaning of social studies, it means the world around us, whatever is happening around us. So when we look at it as a real life experience, it is better for them to actually deal with it. If we do not add real life experiences, then the meaning is not there for them to understand. And if we do not give them these examples and they cannot relate themselves to whatever is happening, then the outcomes would not be as good as it could have been. So it's really important that you give them real life experiences related to them so that their interest develops and they are more curious to learn. So I hope everyone is getting the idea that what exactly these themes are and what we have incorporated. I would really request participants, if they have any idea regarding themes that anything was lacking and they think that it is a good initiative which has been added because of SNC, you may feel free to drop in a comment, and we would really like to add it while we are having a session, because it's good to know that people are there listening to us and interacting with us. Going forward, human rights.
So I have added this lesson of human rights in the book because the curriculum also recommends this. And it was the need of the society and our country that we should teach human rights to the students. Children should know their rights. Children should know their responsibilities because they are not aware of them. We have never taught them. So now with the new idea and the new curriculum, these things have to be considered to inform children about the special rights they have. Children have two kinds of rights, the basic rights, which are right from their birth time. and then the fundamental rights which are explained in the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights. And it's a fundamental rights are there, but otherwise we have to teach the children about the rights of children, their own rights, and women rights, girls rights. They should learn about it. So next, please.
All right, now going forward, of course, I would like to sum up this human rights idea because it is very important and integral in today's modern world. Children should know because modern slavery is somehow connected, with human rights, and children should be well aware of their rights. As Farhat has said, the idea is to raise awareness and to have positive values and attitudes. With this, if you see, we have tried to incorporate pages from the book with relevant to the theme so that you can actually see the evidence that it is there in the book. As earlier Farhad said that rights and responsibilities are there and duties are there, children should also know that they are not only liable to rights, they have duties also. So they should be well aware of the idea that okay, if this particular thing is my right, this is someone else's duty, and if I have a right, the other person also has the right. So the idea of equality, equity, having the rights again with responsibilities is a very important fact which needs to be there. Human rights in itself has not been added in the book as a separate theme. However, it is a very important topic. Therefore, Farhat has made a separate unit, a separate chapter basically for this particular topic to make awareness more effective. You want to add?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, like we have, when you will just look at the book, so there is a content review and other things, lesson from the lesson, there are questions, and then there are we have asked them to do some activities. So in the rights and responsibilities and the lesson of human rights, you can teach it very easily. You can teach, the right method is this, that you can take the example from their surrounding, which are against human rights and responsibilities. They are not fulfilling the rights, they are not fulfilling the responsibilities. You can take an example and give the chapter topic to the students. They can discuss it in the class and can give you their impressions. Yeah. So otherwise, with all the chapters, we have given going further exercises, and we are also making guidebooks for them.
All right. So we will talk about the guidebooks at the end of the sessions, in particular when we'll have the Q&A session, right? Okay, going further, now we are done with the first two halves of the session which we have today, and the first one was significance. We have spoken about that. The second one was how themes have been broadened, and now another thing which SNC has is core competencies and skill development. Now, if you see on the slide, there are four major areas which SNC 2020 focuses. The first one is critical thinking skill. Second is sustainable development goals. Third is life skills based education, which is also known as LSBE. And the last but not the least, of course, is use of information and communication technology. We are going to talk about each one of them one after the other. The first one being critical thinking skills has already been there in the books if you have had a look at them earlier also. Critical thinking skills, in a shortest sentence, I would sum up it as thinking about thinking, not taking whatever is given to you, but having a critical mind, having a critical eye of the information, scrutinizing it, taking what's important, leaving what is not required, having the idea of other opinion also, and then coming up to a conclusion. Going further, sustainable development, Farhat is going to talk about.
Yeah. Sustainable development is it is done. So, like I have added yes, I got it. I have added a lesson, weather and climate. So it's about that. Awareness about climate change issues help students to adapt to climate change related trends, because they learn from there. If they are studying about climate change and how does it change and why it changes, so they should know what should not they do and what should they should not do. So this is like that. And global warming, I know because of the change in the climate, global warming in the world is increasing. So these days, children know very well through TV and other sources, but they do not know how to do action against it. They cannot change the climate. Even the elders are, trying to plant the trees and this and that, but still they are not unable to climate change the climate. It's a very hot topic these days. This come under sustainable development goals. This climate change is the 13th goal of sustainable development, which we have to achieve by 2030. I don't know, because of this corona we would be able to do that or not.
Right. So sustainable development, as Farhat has already just mentioned, that it is a very important topic. We know that there are several natural resources around us, and we need to be having the idea of responsibility again. If you look at this picture, this is part of the book as well. Taking care of the environment is a civic responsibility. Basic manners like cleanliness, like picking up the litter, having to make sure that we do not throw the waste at inappropriate places. These are the basic things which a child should know, because as earlier mentioned in the session, that a child should be taught from the very early ages, because you cannot change a person who is then elderly, and the habits then are there and it's difficult to change. So it's important for them to understand that what is their responsibility, what to do with the waste, how to recycle it, even if it's planting, even if it's taking care of the water. As I read somewhere, it says that you should not waste the even a single drop of water, even if you're by a riverside, or next to a running stream. I believe that was the word. I don't exactly remember what the words exactly. However, the idea is to create awareness of about the surrounding. Again, referring to the title, know your world, know what is around you, and then be responsible for how things should be done and how you have to take care of the environment, so in return it takes care of you. Going further, do you want to add something, or shall
I just wanted to say one
Yes.
word. Like this topic is not limited to this lesson only.
Right.
Actually, it goes in all the book, in every lesson, like citizenship. You should be responsible for, as she said, like for drinking, wasting water. So everything comes in this. So don't limit it to this lesson only. You can give them projects or anything else and teach them in a good manner.
Excellent. All right. So going on, the next idea is life skills based education. Now, this has been incorporated in the books. With this, if you see on the slide, I have added a picture which is top 10 life skills recommended by World Health Organization. Now, when we say life skills, the idea is to mold students into personalities who have the civic responsibility, who have a concern towards national and global aspects, right? So when we say about top 10 life skills, of course, there are more to it. But focusing on the first 10, first one is problem solving. The main idea of problem solving skill is to make an individual understand the nature of the problem, what is the problem about, how to actually deal with it, what could be other causes of this problem arising, and then how to actually respond to it. Second is decision making. It is a very vital skill required in everyday life. Decision making is something which a child should know when and how to do. With this, there is risk management, of course. So the child should be, able to deal with it. And if he or she is not able to actually sort this, he should or she should have the confidence to actually go to the relevant person and ask for help. So these are the skills, the first two ones. Next is creative thinking. Very easily spoken about. Creativity honi chahiye. We always claim of creativity, thinking out of the box. It's basically the idea of having a free sense of, anything, thinking freely, being having the freedom to think of anything in your own way, just not taking whatever is given to you. So that actually inculcates creativity. Going further, we have critical thinking skill. I have already spoken about, so I would not emphasize more on this. Self-awareness is another skill. Self-care is part of this. But when we talk about self-awareness, the major idea is to know the strengths and the weaknesses. So if a person has certain strengths, he or she should be building upon it. If a person has certain weaknesses, then he or she needs to actually reflect, having an eye to actually look for the better approaches to deal with those weaknesses. This is the main idea of self-awareness. Going forward to empathy, usually we interchange this term with sympathy. However, they are different in meaning as well as the experience. So empathy is to be able to, look at the other person's view, make yourself at the other person's, having yourself in another person's shoe, that we usually say, and realizing that what the other person is going through, which usually we don't see around. Therefore there is no tolerance, therefore people actually have these anxiety and depression disorders and stuff like this. So we actually have to build from the very scratch and have a basic foundation for these life based skills, so that we have a society which is, accepting, diverse, tolerant, respecting the view of others. Coming to next is interpersonal relationships. Very important. A person should know how to deal with other people and what exactly is required. Connecting to it is good communication. Communication is something which is highly essential. Of course, it's verbal and non-verbal. So when we say verbal communication, it's the tone, it's the words you use, it's the way you say something to the other person. However, our face, our body actually communicates a lot, and that should be taught to students. If you're saying yes to something and making weird faces, the other person gets the idea that okay, you are not willing to do it. And I personally have observed that there are people around us who actually speak more with their faces rather than the words. So when we say that we need to be nice and polite, communication also focuses on non-verbal aspects, and this actually should be taught to students. And if it's not there in the book, particular exercise, कोई assessment नहीं है क्योंकि verbal experience में ऐसा होना चाहिए, non-verbal में ऐसा होना चाहिए, as teachers we can also add a few things. Be mindful of how students are, responding to one another, and have a word with them about it. Yes.
Just please go ahead.
All right. I thought you would wanted to say something.
Yeah,
All right. Now, going further, management of stress and management of emotion, I would just link them together because it's very important to know how actually a person is feeling, how they can actually manage their stress, because nowadays we also hear a lot about the problems like depressions and mental disorders, which are not a thing to be ashamed of. If someone is going through it, they should be able to, realize it, be open about it, be vocal about it, and deal with these issues. So these are by WHO. However, life skills have been added. This particular focus is there in SNC as well as our books. So there are chapters made on this where children can actually get the taste of all these skills in chapters here or there. You would want to add?
Yeah, she explained everything very well, mashallah. So I was thinking about problem solving. Everybody faces problem in their life every time here. So but for you and for children, right from class 2 or 1, in my series of the books, I have added problem solving skills. You have to choose the problem, and then how do you have to conduct the problem solving in the class, and then how to produce the result, and how do the children solve the problem. So many examples have been given by me in different books of Know Your World. And here also in some lesson I have given, I think, tolerance, or I don't remember. I've talked about problem solving skills, and I have given different steps, step 1 step 2 step 3, like that. So you can follow them if you want. It will be easier for you to teach the students and convey your message to them. Thank you.
All right. So going forward, we have another skill, which is use of information and communication technology, a great deal to be taught these days. Specifically in Corona, we have experienced that how information technology, how internet has actually been a lifesaver for us. Even at this point, we are using this technology and having this conversation, though it's a lockdown day in Karachi, and thankfully information technology is there for us and we are able to communicate with one another. Therefore this skill is highly important. There is a separate chapter for this particular skill. With that, in each chapter, if you'll see, there are different assessments provided. Now we know that there is a wide range of assessment. Assessment in itself is a very detailed and thorough topic, but when we look at these tasks which are there on the screen displayed in front of you. The first one is use the internet or newspaper. So then a variety is given to students, whatever suits them, to discover what steps other people, communities, and government around the world are taking to slow down climate change. Now, if you see this one particular task, there are so many skills developed at the same time, so many themes incorporated in it at just one point. Use the internet, of course it's the skill of using information technology. Then we are also giving them an option of using a newspaper as well, so they can pick and choose between, so that they have this freedom, they have this sense of ownership. Then next is what steps other people, communities, and governments around the world are taking to slow down climate change. So they actually have to research, so research skills are also part of that. Going further, when we say around the world, now they are going to compare as well. So critical thinking is there. The last bit of it is the topic to slow down climate change. Of course, now they have this sustainable development goal that is also there. They are also focusing on what to do. Problem solving is there. So everything is there mixed in one particular task. Now it's the job of the teacher to actually highlight it between the students and give them the awareness that what exactly we are trying to focus on. If you look at the last point over here, the number 4 point, which is research about climate change activities around the world, share with your class what these activities are doing to help control the damage from global warming and climate change. Again, a lot of themes are there. You can, I believe you yourself have been able to pick and choose and identify that what exactly is happening. When we say research, we are actually allowing them to have this use of information technology, and they will of course communicate when we say share with your class with what these activities are doing. So they are having a critical eye to understand that what these activities are. Then they are sharing with their class, so they have teamwork, group work, interpersonal skills, as well as communication, coming back to verbal and non-verbal communication. So everything is there. Going at the last line, it says control the damage from global warming and climate change. Global warming in itself is highly important topic again, and that of course is going to give them civic sense, idea of global citizenship, idea of sustainable development goals. So if you look at this book, it is a wholesome book for students to actually know what is happening around us, right?
One thing more I would like to add here.
Please go ahead.
Like the whole book, if you go through this very deeply, you just check it. There is nothing rote learning, because I was not in favor of rote learning. I wanted to understand the book to the children. And because I have learned how to write a textbook. So that's why I kept everything in my mind while I was writing this book. And so there is no possibility of rote learning here. They have to study and they have to do the work and understand in an interesting manner.
So which is a student-centered approach, right?
Yeah.
Of course. All right, going further, this is a pyramid which has been shared with you to actually teach through the steps. I guess Bharat would like to emphasize on that.
Yes, sure. Actually, this teaching through recourse pyramid model. I mean, anything in social studies can be taught with this, keeping this in the mind, this model. This is my own model. I had designed it. I read many books and many authors and many philosophers and theories. Then I designed this, pyramid. So I have just 2 minutes left, so I will explain it in a hurry. It starts from below, value and awareness model. There is a value and awareness model which I read, and it says that you have to teach about, for example, human rights. So you have to teach them the human rights, what are human rights, from where they came, and what are the children rights, what are the women rights, what is happening in this. So they should have awareness about everything. And then the behavior empowerment model. So after this, we look at this, we give the awareness to the students and values, teach them values. It's not good to fight with anyone like that. And then the behavior empowerment model will look at the behavior of the students. Are they still having the same behavior, or they are changing the behavior with the examples which you are giving them from the society? And when they discuss it in the class, or they read the newspaper, they see it there, or in television also. So like behavior empowerment models, so like you can check the behavior of the teacher, your child, that they are changed in their behavior or not. The third one is transformational model. Whether they are the children, you will notice them, they are capable of transforming others, not to do the wrong things, not to make they should be very true, and are they speaking truth or not. So they can check other students, their friends, and their cousins, their sisters and brothers, family, whether they have transformed or not. So this is very important. And
That's it?
recourse, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
So thank you very much, everyone. We hope that we have conveyed some fruitful information to you all. Now we are actually ending this session. Thank you for attending it. Your questions and comments are now more than welcome. So over to you, Aisha.